Guys, so we're going to look at questions 49 and 50 from the SAT number 9, April 2017 QAS test. I imagine if you're watching, maybe you struggled with this question, you had some issues. This is a pair of questions that a lot of students do get wrong. It's kind of challenging. So hopefully we can explore a couple things and point out some things to remember about the SAT that might help you in the future. So 49 says scientists who specialized in lignin were useful to Martone and Estevez because. So the first key thing here is to pay attention to this, Martone and Estevez. So we're obviously looking for scientists who are specializing in lignin, right? And because this is a paired question, we're going to scan through our text to look for the scientists who specialized in that. But we also going to want to pay attention to the fact that we're looking for scientists who are useful to Martone and Estevez, right? And let's just keep that in mind as we go forward. So then we're going to start with the answer choices. So let's go through and look through each one of them. So 22 says, Martone didn't set out to locate lignin in algae. This doesn't really tell us, in my mind, anything about specialists in lignin or why they were useful to them, so I feel pretty confident we can get rid of A. B says 32, and that is here. The calcified or rigid-bodied seaweed, we've seen this sentence before, has multiple non-calcified joints that make it flexible, etc. This is talking about the structure of C. cheilosporioides, but not really anything in my mind about specialists in lignin, right, and why they're important. So I get rid of B. Then we have C, which is 33 through 37. And this says here, when collaborator Jose Estevez at the Carnegie Institution for Science examined the joints for Martone with the transmission electron microscope, he saw secondary cell walls, features commonly found in land plants, right? And if we look a little bit at the context, right, you might notice that immediately it says that prompted Martone and Estevez to seek out experts in lignin. Maybe we notice that or not. So a lot of students look at this and say, okay, this could work because this is talking about sort of examining the joints and seeing, evidence for lignin, etc. But again, remember what I said here, we need to pay attention that we're looking for scientists who helped Martone and Estevez, whereas this sentence here is talking specifically about Estevez and Martone. So here, these aren't scientists who specialize in lignin who are helpful to them. These are the people themselves. So for that reason alone, we can actually just get rid of C, which means it has to be D, right? And D does make sense because after C, it says that prompted them to seek out experts in lignin. And then immediately after, we're introduced to John Ralph and colleagues, right? Which seems to imply that these are, this guy and his colleagues, these are the experts in lignin. And then all it says is that they detected lignin in C. cheilosporioides, which doesn't tell us too much. And I get that some students read that, they're like, oh, it can't be this, it doesn't tell us anything. But if we look at the context, it says afterwards they found the same telltale components derived from radical coupling reactions in these alcohols used to describe lignins in terrestrial plants. And I know that that's not directly included in the lines that are cited. And the test is just not perfect. Sometimes the information we need is a little bit outside the horizon of the answer choices that are given to us. Sometimes it's very specific within it. Every question is a little bit unique, so you have to just use what I call test logic to help you sort of just narrow things down and make adjustments as necessary. So because we should feel confident getting rid of these other answer choices, I say it's got to be this one. All it tells us is that he detected it, so that could work. But it also goes on to basically explain that he found the same components in this algae that he did in like land plants. So for that reason, this is going to be our text. So let's find an answer choice that basically just says they were helpful because they helped discover that lignin was present. A says the toughness of C. cheilosporioides made it difficult to analyze without the use of specialized chemistry. And neither the passage nor the text really talk about this like special feature of the algae, how it's so tough that we can't analyze it without specialized chemistry. So I feel confident getting rid of that. B says that C. cheilosporioides was found to contain features typically found in plants known to contain lignin. And I think this does match the text we just looked at, right? Found features that are known to be found in plants that do contain lignin, which is right here. They found the same telltale components used to describe lignins in terrestrial plants. So I think this is pretty good. C says prior research suggested that seaweed species contain molecules of a particularly durable chemical compound. I don't think any of the texts we talked about say that they have molecules that are particularly durable. I don't think we get that, so we should probably get rid of C. D says some unexpected measurement results from tests for lignin required specialist interpretation. This one, D could probably kind of match with answer choice C here, right? They seemed to find something a little bit unexpected, which made them seek out the experts. But we know that we know that it's not answer choice C. We know that it's not the text C here because we're looking for a text that talks about specialists who were helpful to Martone and Estevez, and this is about those two scientists themselves. So we know it's not C, which means it really can't be D. There's nothing else that would match it. So that's going to leave us with answer choice B for question 49 and answer choice D for question 50.